You see it in the headlines: alien probe, spaceship from deep space, Manhattan-sized mothership heading for Earth. Take your vacation before October 29th. The internet is losing its mind over 3i Atlas, and one Harvard professor keeps feeding the fire. But here's what nobody's telling you. Every single telescope that looked at this thing, Hubble, James Webb, Gemini, the whole arsenal, found the same answer. It's a comet, a really weird comet from somewhere else in the galaxy, sure, but a comet, not a spacecraft, not alien technology. And definitely not coming to destroy us. So how did we get here? How did a chunk of ice and rock from another star system turn into the conspiracy theory of 2025? Atlas telescope in Chile, a robot scanner hunting for asteroids that might hit Earth, spotted something moving wrong, too fast, wrong angle. Within 24 hours, astronomers knew. This wasn't from here. The object was racing through space at 210,000 kilometers per hour, 61 kilometers per second, on a path so steep it would never loop back. The math was clear: hyperbolic trajectory, orbital eccentricity of 6.137. That's astronomer speak for this thing is leaving and never coming back. 3i Atlas became the third confirmed visitor from interstellar space, after 1, I Oumuamua in 2017, and 2, I Borisov in 2019. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb suggested it could be an alien probe, maybe even hostile. By July 4th, he was writing blog posts questioning its size. By July 7th, he was calculating intercept missions. On July 16th, he uploaded a paper to Arxiv titled, "Is the Interstellar Object 3i Atlas Alien Technology?" The paper laid out 7 so-called anomalies. The orbit aligned within 5 degrees of Earth's orbital plane. Suspicious, Loeb said. The size estimate of 10 to 20 kilometers made it impossibly rare, he claimed. It would pass near Venus, Jupiter, and Mars. Too many coincidences. And here's the kicker: there was no clear evidence of gas emissions, so maybe it wasn't a comet at all. The media ate it up. Social media exploded. Theories multiplied. Some people said it was sending Doppler signals back to Earth. Others claimed NASA was hiding the truth. A few suggested it was a distraction from Jeffrey Epstein files. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from NASA's official 3i Atlas mission page published July 3rd, 2025, and the peer-reviewed paper by Cordner and colleagues on James Webb, Space Telescope Spectroscopy, published in the Astrophysical Journal, Letters on September 10th, 2025. These aren't generic press releases. These are primary observational data from the spacecraft and telescopes that actually looked at the object. Now back to the information. On July 2nd, the Deep Random Survey in Chile, Lowell Discovery Telescope in Arizona, and Canada, France, Hawaii Telescope at Mauna Kea all detected something Loeb missed: a coma, that fuzzy cloud of gas and dust around the nucleus. David Jewett and Jane Liu at the Nordic Optical Telescope confirmed it the same day. The object was clearly active. Not a rock, not metal. Active outgassing, comet behavior. By the time the Minor Planets Center officially named it 3i Atlas on July 2nd, they'd collected 122 observations from 31 different observatories. Every single one showed cometary features. On July 21st, 2025, when 3i Atlas was 365 million kilometers from Earth, Hubble's wide-field camera caught it in detail. Teardrop-shaped dust cocoon streaming away from a solid, icy nucleus. Diameter between 440 meters and 5.6 kilometers. Not 20 kilometers like Loeb claimed. The bigger size estimate was the coma, not the nucleus. Basic mistake. The kind an undergraduate wouldn't make, according to Arizona State planetary scientist Steve Desch, who graded Loeb's paper publicly and gave it failing marks. Distance from the Sun, 3.32 astronomical units. About 497 million kilometers out. The spectrum came back with a chemical fingerprint: carbon dioxide, water vapor, water ice, carbon monoxide, carbonyl sulfide, dust grains. Every single component you'd expect from a comet. Nothing metallic, no hull, no propulsion signature, just ice sublimating under solar heat. 4.5 standard deviations above the typical long-period comet values. The finding appeared in a paper by Martin Cordner and his NASA Goddard team, published September 10th, 2025, in the Astrophysical Journal Letters. This wasn't evidence of aliens. It was evidence of a different stellar nursery. 3i Atlas probably formed in a colder region of its parent protoplanetary disk, right at the carbon dioxide ice line where CO2 freezes solid. Or it got blasted by higher ultraviolet radiation than our solar system comets ever saw. Either way, chemistry from another star system, not engineering from another civilization. It very strongly resembles, in just about every way, the comets that we know. Loeb kept pushing. He published more blog posts. He appeared on podcasts warning people to take vacations before October 29th. He assigned a 30 to 40% probability that 3I Atlas does not have a fully natural origin. He compared it to a Trojan horse, technology masquerading as a comet. He invoked the Dark Forest hypothesis from Liu Cixin's science fiction novels, the idea that alien civilizations preemptively destroy potential threats. Chris Lintott at Oxford called the spacecraft claims absolute nonsense and an insult to the exciting work going on to understand this object. Jason Wright at Penn State documented every error in Loeb's analysis on his AstroWrite blog. The coma Loeb dismissed as inconclusive image smearing. Real. The lack of gas emissions Loeb cited as evidence against a comet. Normal for objects beyond 4 astronomical units from the sun, where water ice doesn't sublimate strongly yet. The supposedly impossible size, based on outdated brightness calculations before anyone measured the coma properly. A SETI Institute scientist, AKM Eaxinul Hake, published a formal response in September. He analyzed the orbital alignment Loeb called suspicious. Yes, 3I Atlas's orbit tilts only 5 degrees from the ecliptic plane where Earth and the other planets orbit. Loeb calculated this as a 0.2% coincidence, implying deliberate targeting. Hake showed it's rare but not impossible for interstellar objects. More importantly, he compared 3I Atlas's spectral slope to D-type asteroids and 2I Borisov, consistent with natural objects. No anomalies. He also examined the claim about non-gravitational acceleration, the idea that 3I Atlas might be firing thrusters to intercept Jupiter. Samuel Seligman's team at Cornell had already measured the light curve over 4 days. Stable structure, no acceleration beyond gravity. Unlike Oumuamua, which showed tiny non-gravitational wobbles from outgassing, 3I Atlas moved exactly as Newton's laws predicted. They cited observations from Gemini South showing clear coma and tail, not cosmetic flares. Spectroscopy from the Very Large Telescope detected familiar molecules: water, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, the building blocks of comets everywhere. The James Webb data confirmed it. Chemical composition slightly different from our comets, yes, but within natural variation for objects from different stellar environments. They tracked 3I Atlas's vertical motion through the Milky Way, the up and down bobbing as it orbits the galactic center. Older stars moved the same way. The correlation was strong. With 68% confidence, 3I Atlas is between 7.6 and 14 billion years old, possibly older than our solar system by 3 billion years. It belongs to the thick disk population of the galaxy, a region of ancient stars formed when heavy elements were scarcer. This comet is a fossil, a time capsule from the early galaxy. By September, NASA's SphereX observatory joined the campaign. Between August 7th and 15th, SphereX made multispectral observations, while 3I Atlas was 470 million kilometers from the Sun, detected abundant carbon dioxide in the coma, found water ice in the nucleus. Same results as Webb. No metal, no propulsion, just ancient ice sublimating. Distance from the Sun, 1.36 astronomical units, 203 million kilometers, between the orbits of Earth and Mars. During perihelion, it will be on the opposite side of the Sun from Earth, hidden from view. Loeb spun this as intentional concealment for a clandestine maneuver. Reality check. It's orbital mechanics. The object came in on a specific trajectory. That trajectory puts it behind the Sun when it swings closest. No intelligence required. After perihelion, 3I Atlas will swing back into view in late November, already moving away. Closest approach to Earth happens December 19th, 2025. Distance, 1.8 astronomical units, 270 million kilometers, about 170 million miles. Earth is safe. It was always safe. 1I Oumuamua hit 87 kilometers per second. 2I Borisov traveled slower, but still on a hyperbolic escape trajectory. This is what objects from interstellar space do. They're not gravitationally bound to our sun, they're just passing through. No stealth technology needed. Loeb pointed out that 3I Atlas entered the solar system's outer boundaries around 8,000 years ago, roughly when human-made technologies became advanced enough to start documenting history. The implication? Aliens have been watching us. But 8,000 years is the transit time based on current velocity. It says nothing about intent. Comets don't care about human civilization. They follow gravitational trajectories determined by their ejection from a parent star system millions or billions of years ago. The stream of particles ahead of the spacecraft to clear obstacles theory Loeb proposed? Laughable to orbital mechanics experts. Any particles ejected would disperse unless each had its own guidance system. The energy cost would be absurd. And 3I Atlas shows no particle stream. The fuzzy coma Loeb tried to dismiss is real gas and dust, confirmed by spectroscopy. The same pattern repeated after Oumuamua. People want it to be aliens so badly they see aliens in telescope artifacts. A comet nucleus roughly 1 to 5 kilometers across, composed of water ice, carbon dioxide ice, carbon monoxide ice, carbonyl sulfide, and silicate dust. It formed between 7 and 14 billion years ago in a protoplanetary disk around a star in the Milky Way's thick disk region. Something, a close pass by another star, a gravitational interaction with a giant planet, kicked it out of its home system. It's been drifting through interstellar space ever since, moving through the galaxy at minus 51 kilometers per second away from the galactic center, and plus 18.5 kilometers per second upward through the galactic plane. Those velocities place it firmly in the thick disk population. Old, traveling solo, until July 1st, 2025, when it crossed into the sun's gravitational sphere of influence and we spotted it. A team at University of A Coruña in Spain traced 93 potential stellar encounters over billions of years. None had significant effect on its orbit. 3I Atlas has been coasting on inertia and galactic gravity. No course corrections, no intelligence. Gemini Observatory images from late August show dust jets streaming from the sunward side. Textbook comet behavior. As the nucleus heats up, subsurface ice vaporizes and bursts through the surface, carrying dust with it. The pressure creates jets pointed toward the sun. That's why 3I Atlas has a strange anti-tail pointing sunward. Not because it's defying physics, but because heavy dust grains ejected by internal pressure move slower than the light gases blown back by solar radiation. The NASA Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory detected hydroxyl, a water molecule broken apart by ultraviolet light, in September. Zexi Xing at Auburn University led the analysis. 3I Atlas was releasing water vapor at a rate of 40 kilograms per second at 3 astronomical units from the sun. That's like a fire hose running at full blast, far from the sun, too far for normal water ice sublimation. Something else is driving it, probably carbon dioxide sublimating below the surface, creating pressure that cracks the crust and exposes buried water ice. Another natural mechanism. No propulsion system required. Data from those observations won't come back until February 2026 because of communication delays and data storage limits, but ground-based telescopes tracked it through October. Every observation reinforced the comet hypothesis. No deviation from predicted trajectory. No sudden acceleration, no radio signals, just ice, dust, and gravity. Actual measurements put the nucleus at 1 to 5.6 kilometers, not 20. 3, the close approaches to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, not coincidences. The orbit simply passes through the inner solar system where rocky and gas giant planets orbit. Millions of comets in the Oort cloud would do the same if kicked inward. 4, lack of gas emissions. Wrong. Multiple telescopes detected carbon dioxide, water vapor, carbon monoxide, carbonyl sulfide. Loeb looked too early before major outgassing began. 5, the perihelion timing behind the sun. Orbital mechanics, not stealth tactics. 6, speed making interception difficult, normal for interstellar objects. 7, the 8,000-year entry into the outer solar system. Irrelevant coincidence. Human history has no bearing on comet trajectories. Every single anomaly collapses under scrutiny. So why does Loeb keep pushing? Psychology might explain part of it. In his own blog posts and papers, he positions himself as a Galileo figure, a truth teller facing mainstream ridicule. He writes about gatekeeping and scientists who resist investments in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He frames the search for alien spacecraft as a public desire that elitist academics suppress. It's a compelling narrative. Maverick scientist versus closed-minded establishment. Except the establishment has telescopes, they have data, and the data says comet. Subsequent analysis showed Oumuamua's acceleration matched outgassing from cometary ices, even though the object looked elongated and dark. Loeb went on television. He wrote a book called Extraterrestrial. He gained fame. In 2023, he led an expedition to the Pacific Ocean claiming to retrieve fragments of an interstellar meteor. Outside, researchers debunked the findings. The fragments were likely industrial slag from ships, pattern recognition. Loeb finds interstellar objects and declares them potentially artificial. Media covers it. Scientists refute it. Loeb moves to the next object. Social media amplifies fear and speculation. YouTubers make videos with titles like Mothership Approaching Earth, Are You Ready? Conspiracy communities fold it into larger narratives. Some claimed 3I Atlas is a distraction from Epstein files. Others suggested it's a cover for government weapons testing. A few tied it to Israeli politics or Jewish conspiracies, attacking Loeb for his background. The wildest theory? That aliens are using the comet as a decoy while conducting operations elsewhere near Earth. None of it based on evidence. all of it thriving on uncertainty and the human hunger for meaning. This script uses research from the Sky at Night magazine article published October 13th, 2025, by Mark Galloway, analyzing spectroscopic evidence, and the IFL Science Fact Check article from August 5th, 2025, interviewing 3 independent astronomers, including Chris Lintott at Oxford, sources that represent the scientific consensus, not fringe speculation. Back to the story. Because fear and excitement travel faster than facts. A headline saying alien mothership coming gets more clicks than comet with unusual chemistry passes through solar system. Media incentives favor sensationalism, so Loeb's theories, however flimsy, get oxygen. The November arrival prediction fueled panic. Loeb's paper suggested that if 3I Atlas were a spacecraft, it could use a reverse solar Oberth maneuver at perihelion, slowing down using the sun's gravity while hidden from Earth's view, then arrive at Earth by late November or early December. This is technically possible for a spacecraft with propulsion, but it requires non-gravitational acceleration, specifically 5.9 times 10 to the -5th astronomical units per day, squared normalized at 1 astronomical unit from the sun. Seligman's team measured acceleration. 0, gravity only, no propulsion, no course change, no arrival at Earth. It's now moving away from the sun, still on its hyperbolic escape trajectory, heading back into interstellar space. It will pass through the constellation Virgo in December. Magnitude dimming below 12, amateur telescopes will lose it, professional observatories will track it as long as possible. By mid-2026, it will be too faint and too far to observe. Gone forever, a single pass, one chance to study it. And what did we learn? That the thick disk of the Milky Way contains ancient comets formed under different chemical conditions than our solar system. We confirmed that about 50 interstellar objects are probably within Jupiter's orbit at any given time, though most are too small and dim to detect. We proved that the Vera Rubin Observatory, set to go online soon, will likely discover many more interstellar visitors, maybe 10 per year. We got a glimpse of planetary formation in another part of the galaxy, billions of years ago. 3I Atlas is a time capsule, a scientific treasure, not a threat. A portion of the public now believes an alien spacecraft is approaching Earth, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. This is how misinformation works. A scientist with credentials makes a provocative claim. Media amplifies it without proper context. Social media removes remaining nuance. Debunking comes too late, reaches too few. And the truth, often complex and less exciting, can't compete. Spectroscopy would reveal metal absorption lines in the reflected sunlight. None present. It isn't accelerating or maneuvering. Orbital tracking over 4 months shows perfect adherence to gravitational prediction. It isn't targeting Earth. Closest approach is December 19th, 170 million miles away. It isn't concealing propulsion behind a natural appearance. The coma and tail are real sublimating ice, not camouflage. The outgassing rate, the chemical composition, the nucleus size, the trajectory, every detail fits the natural comet model. 0 details require alien technology to explain. If natural explanations fit, you don't invoke aliens, Occam's razor. The simplest explanation that accounts for all the evidence is usually correct. 3. I-Atlas is simple. It's a comet from another star system. Strange chemistry, different stellar environment, high speed, interstellar escape velocity, hyperbolic trajectory, gravitational slingshot from its original ejection, timing, random. The universe is big. Things drift through space for billions of years. Occasionally one passes near us. No intelligence required. Compare this to actual searches for extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI uses radio telescopes to scan millions of star systems for narrowband signals that wouldn't occur naturally. Breakthrough. LISTEN analyzes terabytes of data looking for technosignatures. The Galileo project, ironically led by Loeb himself, deploys sensors to detect anomalous aerial phenomena with scientific rigor. These efforts are legitimate science. They follow protocols. They don't declare aliens without extraordinary evidence. 3. I-Atlas fails every test for artificial origin. No signal, no anomalous behavior, no technology signature. It's ice and rock. Claiming otherwise isn't scientific courage. It's speculation contradicted by data. The idea comes from Liu Cixin's science fiction trilogy. In a universe with finite resources and unknown alien intentions, civilizations might hide or preemptively strike. It's a chilling concept. Great fiction. 0 evidence it's real. We have no confirmed contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. We don't know if intelligent life exists elsewhere. We certainly don't know if it's hostile. Using a science fiction scenario to justify treating a comet as a potential weapon is intellectually dishonest. It's fear-mongering dressed up as caution. It gives ammunition to skeptics who dismiss astrobiology as alien hunting. It wastes resources. Journalists spend time debunking nonsense instead of covering actual discoveries. Telescope time goes to proving the obvious, that a comet is a comet instead of new science. Loeb positions himself as a hero, but he's a distraction. Studying it teaches us about planet formation in low metallicity environments. The thick disk of the Milky Way formed early in galactic history, when supernovae hadn't yet enriched interstellar gas with heavy elements. Stars and planets there have different chemistry. 3I Atlas gives us direct samples of that ancient, distant region. No spacecraft needed, just a natural visitor carrying data in its ice. Water ice present in the nucleus per sphere X. Carbon monoxide detected. Carbonyl sulfide tentatively identified. Dust grains streaming in the tail. Sunward jets from subsurface pressure. The carbon-12 to carbon-13 isotope ratio similar to Earth's, suggesting the comet's parent star had solar-like carbon processing. Every detail adds to our understanding of how worlds form around other stars. 3I Atlas is a cosmic messenger. Ignoring its real value to chase alien fantasies is scientific malpractice. Carbon dioxide to water ratio, 7.6 to 1. Age estimate, 7 to 14 billion years. Discovery date, July 1st, 2025. Perihelion date, October 29th, 2025. Earth closest approach date, December 19th, 2025. Distance at closest approach, 270 million kilometers. Threat level to Earth, 0. Co-authored with Adam Hibbard and Adam Crowell, members of the Initiative for Interstellar Studies, a nonprofit. The paper itself admits, by far the most likely outcome will be that 3I Atlas is a completely natural interstellar object, probably a comet. Loeb described it as a pedagogical exercise and fun to explore, irrespective of its likely validity. In other words, he knew it was probably wrong when he published it, but he published it anyway, for the clicks, for the media attention, for the funding arguments he makes in blog posts about taxpayers wanting SETI research. Cordner and team in the Astrophysical Journal Letters, September 2025, detailed the carbon dioxide-dominated coma. Hopkins and colleagues in a preprint, July 2025, calculated the ancient age from galactic orbit analysis. Opitom and team reported spectroscopic observations from ground-based telescopes. Bolin and team provided astrometric data and pre-discovery detections. Alvarez-Candle and colleagues studied the orbital dynamics. Every paper agrees. Natural comet, interstellar origin. No evidence of artificial construction. Pre-discovery images dated back to June 14, 2025, from Zwicky Transient Facility. Atlas observations reached back to June 5th. The object was passing in front of the Milky Way's galactic center, hidden in dense star fields, which is why it wasn't spotted earlier. Amateur astronomer Sam Dean identified those early images. No conspiracy, no concealment, just observational difficulty. Solar and heliospheric observatory attempting detection, though the comet is likely too faint. Ground-based facilities tracking it through December. Everything planned, everything transparent. If NASA were hiding alien technology, they wouldn't publish observation schedules and data access portals. The ESA page for 3I Atlas explains the discovery, trajectory, and safety. Closest approach to Earth, 240 million kilometers. No danger. Multiple space agencies coordinating observations. Planetary Defense Office tracking it not because it's a threat, but because that's their job. Monitor anything unusual near Earth. Routine protocol. The page also mentions the rarity of interstellar objects and the difficulty of detecting them. 50 estimated within Jupiter's orbit at any time. 5 million total asteroids in that volume. Finding interstellar visitors is like finding needles in a haystack. We need better surveys. That's where Vera Rubin Observatory comes in. Legacy Survey of Space and Time, LSST, starting soon. Expected to find dozens of interstellar objects per year. 3I Atlas is a preview, a foretaste of discoveries to come. First detection of hydroxyl gas from an interstellar object. Water vapor confirmed. And here's the kicker. 3I Atlas was releasing water at 3 astronomical units from the sun, too far for normal water ice sublimation. Sunlight that weak shouldn't vaporize surface ice directly. Something else is driving it. Subsurface carbon dioxide, sublimating from deep, cold storage, creates pressure that fractures the crust and exposes buried water ice to sunlight. Then, the water sublimates. The mechanism is natural. We see it on solar system comets at similar distances. Comet Hale-Bopp did the same thing. But finding it on an interstellar comet confirms that distant planetary systems form comets with similar internal structures. Layered ices, insulating crust, subsurface volatiles. The recipe for comets is universal. Earth and 3. I-Atlas's home system, separated by hundreds or thousands of light years, separated by billions of years, still made comets the same way. Life's chemistry, water, carbon compounds, exists across the galaxy, not because aliens spread it, because physics and chemistry work the same everywhere. The search for extraterrestrial life has better odds because comets like 3I Atlas exist, not as spacecraft, as delivery systems for water and carbon to young planets, panspermia without intelligence, chemistry without design, the universe bootstrapping complexity from simple rules. Loeb was right about one thing. 3I Atlas is important, just not for the reasons he claimed. It's not a threat, it's a gift. A 7 billion-year-old chunk of another world passing close enough for us to study, revealing secrets about galactic history and planetary formation. One pass. Never to return. We built telescopes and spectrographs and orbital observatories for moments like this, to catch the visitors, to read their chemical stories, to learn what's out there without needing to travel there. 3I Atlas is doing exactly what we hoped, teaching us. Expanding our understanding, proving that interstellar space isn't empty, it's full of fossils waiting to be found. The tabloid panic will be forgotten. What survives is the data, the spectra, the trajectory, the composition, the proof that ancient comets drift between stars, carrying water and carbon, older than the sun, witnesses to the early galaxy. That's the legacy, not fear, knowledge.